right. Hey everybody, NovelistCrim here, and welcome to Writing Company and Motivation. This is a stream hosted by the Crimsdale writing community, a community full of writers, editors, artists, and a bunch of other wonderful folk like yourselves. Essentially what this is, it's an accountability stream where we get together and we do some writing and also listen to some music and kind of, just hang out. I feel like writing does not have to be a lonely task. It can certainly find friends who are interested in the same thing that you are, and it's like that old African proverb where it's like, faster alone but farther together. So aside from that, let's consider what we're doing here. All right, so if you guys are new to this stream, we usually host this stream roughly around Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. So you can catch us live on those days on Twitch. Other than that, the way we kind of set up these streams is for the first half of the stream, it's more about doing a quick journal entry about the thoughts of being a trying to be like a novelist, any type of wisdom that I come across, any type of writing challenges that I'm doing. I'll write it down and we kind of share a little bit about, have a discussion about it essentially. You can find all of those other entries inside the Discord, and you can get to the Discord by hitting !Discord in chat, and it'll give you a link so you can hop right in there and kind of rub shoulders with all the other creatives that are kind of milling about in that zone. So yeah, first journal entry, then we kind of talk a little bit about some stuff, and then we kind of open the floor to some questions. If you guys have anything that you are on your mind, or questions that you kind of want to spitball or bounce ideas off of, or try to figure something out, or how maybe you need a more clearer understanding about the topic of writing, or just want to chat for a little bit, we can certainly do that. And then I think towards the second half of the night, we usually just kind of wind things down and just go straight towards writing. You're certainly able to just chat. You're welcome. While we're doing the focus part of the stream, it's just I'm not actively engaging the chat as much as we will in the first half. Is basically it. Alrighty, so let me go ahead and start up with this journal entry while I think of what stuff has happened recently. Alright, I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna be posting it on the Discord if you guys are interested. Little journal entry. Ooh. All right, cool. So it's a really stormy day outside. At the moment, there's a lot of rain kind of smashing down hard on the roof, and thunder and lightning rolling around out there. It's pretty good. I kind of like this type of weather. It's I don't know what it is, but for me it's just, I don't know, I think it's relaxing. That, and I think it's the perfect excuse to kind of stay indoors and do some writing. There's always something inspirational about the sound, the feel, and even the smell of I guess stormy rain. It's beautiful. Feels almost magical. Let's see. Other than that, before we get into a writing discussion here, I'd like to thank you guys. For those of you who have checked out our YouTube channel, I've had a couple of people who asked me to get a little bit more active on our YouTube. We used to have tons and tons of videos, but I took them all down because I felt it wasn't in the spirit of what we were trying to aim to be in terms of I wanted it to be more focused on noveling than it is video gaming and such. So because I had tons of videos completely centered on video games, I decided to kind of let that part go, and just simply focus on the writing. I had a request for doing a highlight video where we basically take these moments where we do a little bit of discussion in the beginning. We've gotten into the habit of doing this journal entry stuff, which is great. I think that it's a way to kind of consolidate the thoughts in your mind and kind of, I guess, work it out, you know? You're able to like think a little bit more clearly when you have like a way of like kind of gauging what's going on in your head. And it also helps you come to, I guess, it can help like bring to attention that which needs work, right? So that's good. I think that I've been a lot more happier being able to like record some of my thoughts and being able to, you know, kind of vent and even converse with you guys. I think it's awesome. And having the ability to put these things on YouTube and kind of like gather those little those fun moments where we kind of like chat and, you know, kind of laugh together, the moments where we discuss something and then you find new insights about writing is great. I think that that's fantastic. Let's see. In terms of writing, we're gonna go into the meat of this here. So right now I'm still like working on the 9th chapter of the book. I am a little disappointed at the idea that it's taken this long to go through a chapter, although we had a lot of things kind of like popping up between like I guess like real life stuff, family visiting, being sick for a while, all these other kind of like life factors that pop up and kind of hold you back just a little bit. Makes it difficult to kind of muster your brain power and get good writing going. Now, that's not the worst thing in the world, because sometimes like you do need a break. And you shouldn't really get discouraged when you can't like hit deadlines. Although you should make an effort to do, like, you know, hit your deadlines, and try to like, you know, keep yourself motivated. I think one of the things that's best for motivation, especially when it comes to like writing, is making sure that you have like a small set of goals that you can like accomplish throughout each day, or whatever time schedule you like set up for yourself. For me, I try to do at least at minimum 250 words a day, minimum, and that's for like second draft work. When I was doing like a stream like a couple months back, when this was like in the rough draft phases, I'd like to try to at least shoot for 1,000 words a day. Actually, I think I got up to 2,000 words a day, which was, you know, pretty decent. So like 1,000 words per hour ish is like the and that's like kind of like word vomit, very unpretty, very like just like throwing it around, just trying to get things going. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but yeah, like I think definitely a way to keep yourself motivated, just to have a way to quantify what success means to you, right? And the reason why you want to do this is because like picture yourself like running in a race and there is no finish line, right? You don't know when you hit the goal or not, and you could be like running way past like, you know, what is decent in terms of like a workload, and you just get like exhausted, you have like a lot of anxiety, and that could be a problem. So a lot of ways to like, you know, kind of mitigate that is to give yourself like a marker or something to basically say, all right, cool, so I hit this deadline, I reached this type of goal. That means that I can no longer feel guilty. Like, you know, everything else is just extra from this point on. And also being specific about the goals. Like, say, for example, doing 250 words a day or whatever word count that you want is good. Because I feel like if your goals are a little bit too vague or nebulous, like it just doesn't feel good either. Because like I could just basically say like, oh, well, you know, my goal is like finish the book. It's like, well, what does that mean? You know, I'll be feeling anxiety every day that I don't finish the book, right? But if you could just break it down into smaller pieces, it's a lot more manageable and it feels good. So one of the habits that I've gotten into is I usually like to have a calendar that's sitting on my desk. I like to kind of like write down, you know, just a little checkbox of like my word count. So I just like, you know, 250 words, write down a check. And when you see like how it adds up over the days, you know, 250 here, 250 there, and you start to see like this momentum building, you'll notice that you'll start like hitting more than just the 250, let's say. You probably go up to like, you know, 700 or 1,000. You start building that discipline, and it gets to a point where you won't even really need the calendar anymore. Although I recommend it because it's fun to see like how far you've come. But like it gets to a point where your writing has become so ingrained inside you that like when you come to sit down at like 8 o'clock like we do right now, you feel this like energy to do that task, even if it's like on off days. I find that like even on like Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the weekend, every time 8 o'clock rolls by, I feel like I have to do something creative. More than that, I want to. So, like it's almost like the day doesn't feel right unless I do it, and I think that's kind of like an interesting thing to like kind of develop in yourself, especially if you want to be like professional in this craft and you want to like hit deadlines consistently. I think that's a good habit to get into, especially if you're going to be turning this into a lifestyle, something that you can not only profit off of, but like enjoy for the rest of your life. For me, that's the goal. I really want to like get to the point where I can do writing every day, and I don't have to worry about like doing any other thing like work or anything like that, because like I will be doing what I love and surviving off of it. Hopefully. That's what we're planning. So let's roll back to the concept of like word vomit, right? For rough drafting, if you guys are on this portion of the story, for those of you who are new, rough drafting is really, in my opinion, important. I think it's great. There's a lot of ways you can go about like starting up a story, be it outlines or roadmaps or maybe just a big old brainstorm and planning session. For me, I like to rough draft. The way I do rough drafting is I kind of just like I don't focus on the grammar. I don't really focus on like too hard on like the characters, continuity, things do not have to make sense, and they don't have to sound good either. Rough drafting should be a playful time in your noveling career. It should feel fun, and for me, it's like I like to kind of just sit down and just blast some good music, really just get into the flow, and then just start typing whatever is in my head. Like I just kind of like let the movie play inside my mind, and then just like make decisions, make mistakes. It's fine. Any idea that you think that you want to do, just do it. Try it. The way I kind of equate that to like a metaphor, I would say, is like you can picture yourself like on the beach, right? And you have like a strong metal detector, and your job is to basically just go across the beach as quickly as possible and just kind of like sweep around. And if you find something, it could be you don't focus on what you find. You take the idea and then you just throw it into a bag, right? Or you take the treasure, you throw it into your bag, and you just keep moving forward. By the end, when you're done sweeping the beach and everything's like said and done, which means when you finish the first draft, you can get to a point where it's like, okay, so I have all these ideas. Now, a lot of this stuff is crap. That's fine. Negative emotions are like something that you should not like fear or like, feel bad about when it comes to like, your writing, because if you don't like something, good. That means that like you don't have to spend a ton of time trying to polish that into something you don't want to write. It means that you're able to like figure out what doesn't work faster so you can get to the good stuff quicker. And as you're like blasting through the the rough draft, and you're just coming up with these ideas of like what you want to see, finding the gems, and whenever you feel that emotion of like, yes, that's a cool idea, or that's a cool scene, I really want to like make that more impactful, or push like and get that to be like in a more important moment. Like, how can I do that? I think that will be important in terms of like getting the second draft. You're looking for those moments of like that energized emotional pull, stuff that gets you excited. It's important to follow the fun. So like going back to the beach metaphor, basically if you're going around, you're collecting all this like treasure and stuff, at the end of the day, you have a bag of treasure, right? Now it's time to like sift through it and see if like there's anything in there that's like worth working on, because you'll know immediately what's trash. Like you can put a bunch of like tin cans in the recycling, but if you find like a ring or something, it might be rusted, but you could probably polish it. So you start to think like, okay, well, what are the things that I want to keep and get rid of? What are the things that I can polish? What are the things that are really valuable? That's what you kind of like want to do. And I find that in my experience, when I did my rough draft, I didn't really know what the novel was about, or I didn't really know how to like fully flesh out the most important parts of the novel until I got to the very end. And it was up until that moment, like, right when I was just like kind of blitzing through the climax, where I realized, oh, so that's why the villain does this. And this is important because I need to like, show that ahead of time, because I didn't. So when you're going through the rough draft and continuity doesn't make sense, you're just like going through and you're like, okay, well that didn't work, so I'm going to pretend that didn't happen and then just try this way, whatever it takes to get the story moving forward. Eventually you'll discover all the things that you'd like and don't like, and that'll be a great launching point from first draft to second draft. And also it feels fun to get the words down. It feels fun to just kind of like play and be silly. It's a rough draft. No one's going to see it, and there shouldn't be a pressure to feel clever in this state of the story. This is like whatever comes out your brain, enjoy it. So hopefully that's a little bit helpful for some of you guys who are having anxiety about like starting off with writing. Like rough drafting can be a little bit spooky at first, and I feel like it's an acquired skill, definitely. Because like when you start off, it's like you have all these instincts that are telling you, well, no, like I gotta correct that thing, or oh, that doesn't make sense, this is not good. But like learning to kind of like focus through that feeling, and then just going right into like developing like the storyteller's mindset, where you're just like, all right, well, it might not sound good right now, but I'm trying to discover the story. Art is organic, it's meant to change, and it should, otherwise it's stagnant. So yeah, hopefully that helps. If any of you guys have like any questions, or if you want to chat for a little bit, you're more than welcome to. I am gonna gear up for some writing myself. Not sure about most things. I don't think a lot of people are. Well, the good news is that you recognize that, which means that there's definitely a chance for like change, I think the real problem is for people who have an issue and they don't know, and they refuse to like recognize that this is my issue, right? I think calling out the problem kind of just basically makes it so that like, okay, well, yeah, there's something that I definitely recognize that's wrong, and there is a way to overcome it. I don't know how yet, but there is. And that's good. It's comforting. Genius! Good to see you. How you doing? What's up? You didn't have me before? How's it going, Genius? Again? Oh man. Were you watching a commercial while when you said yo? Probably. I've been thinking about what you said last stream. About you feeling like you want more from life. You wish you take up your time and get lost. Yep. I find that I get stuck in the same mindset if I see people doing things here on the sidelines. You're not alone there, Justin. Not by a long shot. I'm certainly there with you. Like, there's a lot of people that I see that are like, doing wonderful things. Like, they could be doing stocks. They could be doing, starting small businesses, starting families. Like all these, living what I perceive to be probably fun, wholesome, and extravagant lives, you know, compared to this kind of like day-to-day thing that I'm doing, you know. And I think that it's important to recognize that we all have our own path, and we are in full control on how we can, you know, react to and influence our world in terms of like we can make decisions that'll make our lives a little bit better. And I think it's just recognizing what decisions we must take in order to get that thing going. It's tricky. It's not easy. And I think that there's that old saying of like, you know, how pain is unavoidable, but suffering is optional, you know? So I think that, you know, one could just kind of endure and things get progressively worse, or you can kind of like, you know, if you're going to get hit anyways, you might as well like, you know, get hit while you're trying to like, you know, make a change, and hopefully it kind of turns out well, you know? Yeah. It's rough, because especially since like, you know, we're always kind of like fed this concept of like, you know, everybody doing something, you know, fancy and, you know, shiny. In like a world of like, you know, full of like social media and everyone is like, you know, living a glamorous life, it's kind of, you know, tricky, man. It really is hard. But how you doing there, Genius? I'm glad that you came. Excited. Have you started up any new projects recently? Also, in terms of the bench analogy, I heard there's a motivational speaker called Les Brown, which is one of my favorites, and he says he said something to the effect of like, you know, in the playing field of life, everyone gets hurt, you know, and here's the secret: no one makes it out alive. So you might as well just like get in there. Dude, I love Les Brown. He's a fantastic speaker. Got some amazing advice from great DM Master Crow. That's awesome. Crow is a wise one. We're working the first few chapters of it. The writing group had a critique called the chapter 3 on Sunday. I'm trying to implement some of the advice I got while moving towards first big plot point. Ooh, that's awesome. That's really good news. How'd the critique roll over? Like, did you find it like very helpful, or like is there like minor stuff to do, a lot of to do? How'd that go? I find that when I was first starting off, I got bludgeoned by so much critique. It's significantly diminished since then, but you know, it's kind of funny, like, you know, first starting off. Good times. Once I got over being nervous, it made me feel really good about the positive feedback I was getting. That's wonderful. I like the positive environments for like, you know, trying to learn your craft. I think it's super important. It's definitely not meant to be like something that will like, you know, hurt you or try to make you feel bad about something that you've done. I think that's like it's really good to be like, you know, open and honest about like the writing, your feelings, and kind of like making sure that the best work comes out, you know? Genius. I'm putting down some thoughts on a short story idea I had and fretted over, and somehow it's growing? Good. Perfect. Like a little seed you water. Excellent. since this is basically the first time I've had other people read my stuff, fanfic doesn't count. Yeah, that's a really awesome feeling. I really like I really like kind of like the thrill that comes with trying to like hand somebody else like your work for the first time, and then you're just like, oh my god, I hope that they like it, because I think it's fun, and I really want them to enjoy it. And sometimes you do really get a great response, and sometimes the feedback is like not so great. But what's best is when they do come up with the feedback that like tells you, here's how to fix it, or like not really necessarily here's how to fix it, here's how I felt, and here's some thoughts I had on it, which is really great. Emperor Palpatine. Yes, let the blood consume you. Do it. That's a wonderful first step, though. That's something that's like, I don't know. That's a great experience for like, on your journey to becoming like a writer. Like, that's like one of the big steps of like earning your chops, It's really good. It's a really good experience. You should be proud. Oh no. That's alright. One of the beautiful things about writers is that they happen to be very accomplished necromancers. And by necessity, skilled and creative murderers. Yes! Very true. Very true. Have you killed anyone in your story yet? I have, so far. Only by natural causes so far. It'll be the first of many. I recall you're doing a high-octane cyberpunk fantasy slicer. I'm just kidding. I think it was like a western fantasy, I believe, like something historical. If I recall correctly. I apologize if I didn't remember. Fantasy western. Nailed it. Sweet. I'm not good at trusting the journey. Yeah, leap of faith. That's a tough one. Yeah. Oh boy. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I've read about like the mental tangles involved with writing. I know that there's like a lot of folks who have the same the similar issues that you do as well, like feeling this like great pressure to like try to provide so much like good work, or feeling bad about like not producing. I think this kind of goes a little bit back to like goal setting and being a little bit more specific about goals. I think that's like a start, and that's mostly because like if you have something that's like nebulous, like I want to finish this novel, or I want to finish this like chapter, it can get like it can get kind of like overwhelming, because it's like you don't feel good unless you do X, and because you're not doing X, you feel anxiety, and it's like rough, you know what I mean? So I think like if you know that like a breakdown is coming and it's hard, I think that perhaps like if you set down like a small goal where you just like write, let's say 100 or 200 words, and then you're like, all right, I'm done, don't touch it, like we'll come back to this tomorrow, and just let it marinate, and then just basically like you give yourself the okay to basically be like, I have accomplished the goal that I set out to do, I can accomplish goals, and like I should not feel guilty when I accomplish these goals. I've done good, I think that's like one of the most tricky parts, because it's almost like running a race without knowing when the finish line is there. So you start getting anxiety and you just keep running and running and running, and you don't know when to stop. So like having those like milestones, or like that thing where it's like, so long as I hit 200 words in the day, I know that I did good. There's no reason to feel guilty. And like eventually you'll start getting into the habit of like especially if you turn it into a ritual. Like we do writing at like 8 p.m. I do writing at 8 p.m. like every day, like not just on stream, just every day. And the reason why is because I kind of built an energy around it, just like doing it over and over and over again, to the moment where it's like whenever 8 o'clock rolls by, I kind of Pavloved myself into thinking, I got to create something for at least an hour or two. I got to do something creative. So like you get that urge and feeling. So you can definitely build up that you can rewire your mind and build it toward working on it. It takes a little bit of work and a little bit of effort, but like if you take like baby steps, and there should be no feeling of shame. There should be no feeling of like expectation. Just do whatever steps, the smallest steps you need in order to like take a little bit at a time. But if you get in the habit of accomplishing goals, you'll find that you'll get better at it, and then eventually you'll start becoming the type of person who does hit deadlines and does produce like the work that you desire. It's not something that's going to happen like instantly, but if you focus on the small stuff first, and you get those little goals down, you'll notice that like it starts to feel better and better with each round. And who knows, maybe like taking those little breaks and stuff will give you enough time to like let the ideas kind of like sink in for a little while, and you'll kind of be able to like play video games or hang out guilt-free, and then you can come back with a fresh mind and come up with some answers to those questions that you've been having with the previous work, finding ways to connect them. I think that it's kind of hard to expect yourself to be a genius like on demand. It's rough. I know it's in your name, but it's rough. All right, guys. It is 10 o'clock, so we've got to get going here. Let me check out what we got going on for some stream stuff. But before we go, I wanted to thank you guys for stopping by. We had a lot of fun doing some some of this writing content. I really enjoy being able to like kind of hang out with you guys and build towards not only like community, but like just trying to stay accountable. It's a lot of fun. And I finished the chapter, so finally we got that stuff out of the way. Other than that, guys, if you are new here, again, my name is NovelistCrim. This is Writing Company and Motivation, a stream hosted by the Crimsdale Writing Community. It's an accountability stream, and we get here together at Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8 p.m. to 10